السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Inshallah ta'ala, in this class, what we're going to do, we're going to look at Babul Af'al, Babul Af'al, the chapter of verbs. And Ibn Ajrum, rahimahullah ta'ala, nafa'ana Allahu bihi wa bi'ulumihi fi ad-darain, he literally just provided some of what Nahu requires. But remember, the chapter of Af'al is vast enough that grammar is not enough. You need to go through Sarf as well. But in this case, because we're looking at Al-Ājrūmiyyah, the text itself of grammar, we're just going to focus on verbs, this chapter specifically, according to what we need from its grammatical point, not from the morphological point of view and that. For now, we're just going to look at it in the grammar perspective and the rules that is applied according to Ibn Ajrum. Not any other text which is above it, like Mutammimatul Al-Ājrūmiyyah, Qatrun Nada, and then you go to Al-Fiyat ibn Malik, Al-Khulasa. We don't want to go in all of those. We just want to look at what Ibn Ajrum provides. But there will be some slight changes according to the Shurrah and the ulama from whom we've learned from. You notice they disagree on certain issues because what you need to understand is that even in Arabic itself, there are schools, such as fiqh. In fiqh there are schools of thoughts. In Arabic, there are schools of Arabic. And the main ones are the two of the Basriyun and the Kufiyun. Madhab al-Basra and Ahl al-Basra, Madhab Ahl al-Kufa. Now, they're not far from each other by land, but in terms of understanding of grammar, it literally led to even the differences that you find in translating the Quran. It's that deep. That's why you notice the further you go, that's when you start delving into these masail. But for now, we're just going to focus on what Ibn Ajrum provides with some slight changes so that it can be much, much easier. Especially Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin rahmatullahi alayh, when he provided his sharh of Tuhfat al-Saniyah, he literally did a fantastic job in elaborating the i'rabat of the verbs. The i'rabat, the inflections of the verbs, how you should expect them is beautiful, mashallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the benefit of the text and the one who authored the text and those who did the sharh of the text and the ulama who did the job of teaching us this ilm. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So let's read the text first, then get into the sharh. باب الأفعال. الأفعال ثلاثة: ماض ومضارع وأمر. نحو ضرب ويضرب واضرب. فالماضي مفتوح الآخر أبدا، والأمر مجزوم أبدا، والمضارع ما كان في أوله إحدى الزوائد الأربع يجمعها قولك أنيت وهو مرفوع أبدا حتى يدخل عليه ناصب أو جازم. نعم, so that's the text. It explains that the verb divides to three types. So let's look at what we have, inshallah ta'ala. أيوة, we have al-madi, the past tense, and then we have al-mudari', and which is the present tense, al-amr. We did kind of look at this when we were just starting off the text itself, but now he looks at it at a different angle, which is much more clearer, much better elaborated when it comes to the grammatical point of it. So al-madi is known as past, bear that in mind, and al-mudari' is the present, and al-amr is what? The commanding future tense. Okay? The commanding tense. But these two can be both for, not can be, they're both, al-mudari' can be, al-amr is. Al-amr is, by the way. Al-mudari' can be what? للمستقبل. What does mustaqbal mean? Future. For the future. When you explain something, you have it according to what how you're using it. So for example, like the verb itself, what you notice is that the present tense verb can be used for the current and also for the future. But when it comes to the amr, it's always used for an action that will take place in the future and it can be near future, it can be literally far future. When you tell someone do something, you could expect them to do it now, or you could expect them to do it later, and maybe you could put an affirmation to show that it must happen. Basically, you're showing bit tawkid. You must do it. And we're going to cover those as much as we could, inshallah ta'ala. Remember, it's a very wide topic from the text. We will try to cover according to what's required for those who are just beginning. Remember, the sharh that we are providing is literally for those who haven't done anything of grammar, any sort of grammar in their life. They're literally just starting now and it's their first time. That's when now you start delving into some sort of grammar, dabbling into grammar. This is called dabbling into grammar, not mastering grammar. Mastery of grammar is literally vast. It's very deep. This one is literally, it's just introducing you to grammar, showing you this is how it looks like. The taste of it is like this, inshallah ta'ala. So Ibn Ajrum rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that al-madi maftuh al-akhir abada is that which always is in a state of fath at the end. At the end is in a state of fath. Now something that I want to mention to you, by the way, if you see my hand like this is the sharh that which is al-Tuhfat al-Saniyah, Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin rahimahullah ta'ala al-Allama. May Allah have mercy on him for what he has done for us. And the reason being I'm keeping it open with me is so that he can assist me throughout. There's a lot of masail which I'm trying to summarize, and I don't want to go very deep that it becomes confusing. I just want to focus on what's necessary, inshallah ta'ala, and the sharh will do that for me, bi'idhnillah al-kareem. Otherwise, I might start adding things which are not even part of the text, and I don't want to do that, bi'idhnillah. Now, coming back to what we have, Ibn Ajurrum provides that فَالْمَاضِي مَفْتُوحُ الْآخِرِ أَبَدًا, that which remains in a state of fatha at the end. Something that I want to make very clear to you is that the ulama say that al-asma' أصلها معربة. Originally, they are mu'rabah. They're in a state of i'rab. Basically, they change in inflection. Understood? لكن الأفعال أصلها مبنية. Although there are some who literally have argued otherwise. لكن for now, what we need to focus on is الأفعال أصلها مبنية. They're literally, they are in a fixed form. Verbs are in a specific form like that. لكن the exceptions are of the verbs mainly is the فعل المضارع. الفعل المضارع. فعل المضارع. أيوة مرة. فعل المضارع cannot be fixed. It's what? Flexible. It's flexible. Its إعراب is flexible in this case. لكن the ماضي and the amr, the past tense, and the commanding tense, those two, they are in a fixed state according to what we have from the ulama. This is باتفاق العلماء. They stay like that. Although they are بجمهور العلماء, لكن for some they kind of have a different view of it. المهم, what you find is that the one which is accepted is that they are all fixed except for the فعل المضارع, unless is in a certain state, then that's when it becomes fixed also. And we're going to look at that inshallah ta'ala. Understand this, we covered this before. There are words which are fixed, they are in a fixed state, and there are words which are flexible. Those which are in a flexible state, they accept change at the end. أليس كذلك? Especially in grammar, that's what we're talking about. And then there are those words which they have one state only if there are exceptions. Now what Ibn Ajurrum just provided is that the past tense is always maftuh. When we say maftuh means having a fatha, containing a fatha at the very end. But this has a mushkila. Why? It becomes difficult for the student that literally has just embarked on this journey of learning grammar, saying that, okay, if it always contains a fatha, then, but my dear brother, you showed me that right now these are past tenses, and at the end there are certain pieces added to them. Let's say such as the dhama'ir, the pronouns, they are added to them. Now what do I do in this case? Because the haraka changed, the diacritic changed the vowel from fatha to dhamma, or they changed, from fatha to dhamma in this case. What do I do? Or maybe they changed to sukoon. What do I do in this case? Do I still say that it's in a state fatha like that? Although Ibn Ajurrum, what he provides over here, he says that you have two types of fatha. If you remember clearly, we covered this. We said that there is the clear fatha, which is al-fath al-zahir. We have the i'rab, which is al-zahir. And then we have the i'rab, which is al-muqaddar. If you remember clearly, الظاهر قلنا أن الإعراب تغيير أواخر الكلم لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا، أليس كذلك؟ ولفظا, that when you utter it becomes the ظاهر, apparent, it's a clear fatha. So when I say نصر like this is a past tense and ended with a clear fatha, ended with fatha at the end. It's as simple as that. أليس كذلك؟ لكن look, if Ibn Ajrum said that all of past tenses, they are in a state of fatha and never changes, then we have a trouble of when we say, مثلا, so this is what I wanted to show you, so that it can become clear. Look at this. Where's my text? أيوة. الأفعال الماضية أيوة, past tenses. And then we have the present tenses. أليس كذلك? Now these are, when you see these verbs, we're not going to discuss the abniya, the building of the verb itself. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk only in its grammatical sense. We're going to focus only in the grammar point. للمتكلم, for the speaking person, like for in other words we say first party, first person, أليس كذلك? Like I or we, you're talking about us or yourself, like I, my, me, isn't it? I am going, I went. Now this is the past tense, we're focusing on the past tense, isn't it? ذهبت means I went, أليس كذلك? ذهبنا means we went. Now Ibn Ajrum and the ulama of grammar, what they provide is that, pardon me, ذهبنا, when you have ذهبنا مثلا, in this case, which is we went, you say we in Arabic and even in English as well. If you read in international law, you read the Geneva Convention and all of that, those are things which I studied. So I majored also in international law for my master's at SOAS. This is what you notice. They use the word we a lot. We, the nation, or so and so, like that. Is هذا للمعظم نفسه. Okay, what does that mean? The one who is literally glorifying themselves. So sometimes you can say we, meaning yourself, but glorifying yourself. And now when you look at it in the sense of the Quran, when Allah says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ. Let's come to the Quran. Aywa, look at the beauty of the Quran. Inna, indeed we, nahnu. Basically Allah is adding another tawqeed. He's showing us that indeed us, we, indeed, and inna was enough, because inna means indeed we, and then you add us on top of it. Nazzalna. Allah would have said anzalna, which sounds a bit more easier. Like when you put nazzalna, that's not the case. It shows tawqeed. Nazzalna dhikra. We revealed. الذكرى, the reminder, which is the Quran. وَإِنَّا, and indeed we are, لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, with verbs. Basically nouns. Allah used nouns. Afwan. All of these nouns that Allah used over here to show that that's never going to change. The one responsible of protecting the Quran, we are only asbab. We are only means to an end. Basically the means to making sure the Quran is protected. Like the one who is protecting the Quran is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now if one is to say that inna means that Allah, we, with his forces, now it becomes more or less of an aqidah issue. Do you see how far grammar goes? It becomes more or less of an aqidah related issue. Now could you say that Allah is referring to himself but with his majesty and his glory? Or are you saying that Allah is referring to himself and his army, which are the angels and that? What is it about? And then you bring in aqidah, you bring in lugha, you bring in all of this. Hence you find that grammar literally covers the basis of the entire Arabic language. The ulama, they've only differed because of grammar. When you study literally usul al-fiqh, مثلا, it's exactly grammar as well. Where do the words stand? Why did they literally differ on this? Why is there a dispute on this mas'ala? You find the other masail, for example, simple. A Shafi'i scholar sat with a Maliki scholar. Now in the Maliki madhab, you have to wipe your entire head. والبدء في الرأس من المقدم تسمية كالغسل كالتيمم. Now the Shafi'i scholar wants to say بعض الرأس, basically part of your head only, some of your hair. أليس كذلك? Then the question was from the Maliki scholar, if Allah said in tayammum then, فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ, this ba is literally just the ba. This ba, this one simple ba. Let me show you. أيوة, شوف. Over here Allah says, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, and your hands, arms to your elbows. وَامْسَحُوا, and wipe بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, your heads, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, and your feet to your ankles. But then when it comes to the issue of the one who does not find water, or maybe they have a condition and all of that, Allah mentions over here, فَتَيَمَّمُوا, then you do tayammum with sa'id, tayyib, clear earth, pure earth, basically clean earth. فَخَمْسَةٌ صَعِيدٌ طَهُرًا وَالضَّرْبَةُ الْأُولَى وَفَوْرٌ ثُمَّ والمسح والوجه والكفين مسحا عما, all of those. فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه. فامسحوا بوجوهكم, then wipe your faces, وأيديكم. Now the Shafi'i scholar, normally in the Shafi'i madhab, what do they say is that you only wipe part of your head when it comes to wiping your hair. أليس كذلك؟ لكن in the Maliki madhab, you start from the beginning to the end and then you come back, and all of them have their levels. Which one you should do, which one is a sunnah, which one is a fadila, and all of those. لكن when they came to dispute, the reason why it's amazing is because فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ. The Maliki scholar asked, then does Allah mean with this ba, هل الباء للتبعيض, that you only wash or wipe part of your face when it comes to tayammum and part of your arms? Or is it intended as your entire face and your entire arms? Now this is not a fiqh class, as you know, lakin I just wanted to show you the beauty of grammar. They disputed only on the ba. أليس كذلك? Only on the ba. Hence it's important to look into these issues inshallah ta'ala. So let's go back to our notes. لذلك, you notice this, للمتكلم ذهبت ذهبنا, and we said that, so إنا نحن, we, when you say ذهبنا, it's either you're talking about you and your colleague, your partner, your person, the other person that you're talking about, whom you are together, you're talking on their behalf, or you're showing your majestic nature, you're the majesty, you're glorifying yourself. للمعظم نفسه, the one who is doing ta'ظيم upon themselves. أليس كذلك? So that's why. When it comes to the mukhatab, which is the second person, someone whom you are addressing, that you are talking to, like you went, or maybe you're talking to a group of people, you are going, أليس كذلك? And then perhaps you're talking to two people. Now in Arabic, what you need to realize is that we have two, single form, dual form, two people, and we have the plural form, which is 3 plus, 3 and above. So plural starts from ثلاثة, 3 onwards, whereas in Arabic we separate between 3 and 2. 2 is muthanna, 2 people. So if you look over here, the للمخاطب, ذهبت, you went for the male. ذهبتي, so you see these are the pronouns, by the way. ذهبتي, you went for the female. لكن ذهبتما, for both genders, you went for both genders, men and women, لكن for 2 people only. ذهبتم, specifically for males, and if there's a group of women and men together, then you use ذهبتم also, which is what the Arabs used to speak. ذهبتن, like this. What you realize is that is for specifically women if the room is only full of women. It's only women you're addressing. أليس كذلك? You went. This is in the past, but ذهبت, you went for one man. Now look at this. In English, it's only you. You cannot know whom you're talking about. Like in Arabic, there are distinctions, mashallah. Look at that. Look, see how beautiful the Arabic language is. It's wide, it's vast, it's beautiful, and it's easy. That's the beauty of it. You know when to use what. You just need to memorize. Okay? ذهبت, ذهبتِ, ذهبتما, ذهبتم, ذهبتن. ذهبت means you went for the man. ذهبتِ means you went for the woman, and these are for the single. For the dual, ذهبتما, which is for both genders. ذهبتم for the plural, men. And if there's a group of men and women, you literally use the men. ذهبتن is only for women, inshallah ta'ala. How about those whom you're talking about, but they're not part of the conversation? Not that they are not here, they're not part of the conversation. Because let's say you're talking to Yusuf, or maybe you're talking to Ali, and you're addressing your friend. أليس كذلك? Now this Ahmed you're talking to, you're saying that Abdurrahman went to school, مثلا, or went to كذا كذا. أليس كذلك? Now Abdurrahman can literally be right next to you, but he's busy with something else. He's not part of this conversation, isn't it? Now because he's not part of this conversation, he already becomes third party. This is not technical. You just need to understand. So you say, he went. ذهب, there's no pronoun for it. ذهبت, she went. ذهبا, two men went. ذهبتا, two women went. ذهبوا, plural of men, they went. And if you have a group of men and women, brothers and sisters together, let's say one family, there's a group of brothers and sisters that went out together, they're all under one name, maybe they come from the Ali family, isn't it? What do you say that they all went out together? ذهبوا, together. In Arabic, you use the male form of the pronoun. And ذهبنا, they went, of the ladies only. Okay? Inshallah ta'ala. I hope that is very clear. Why am I mentioning this to you? I'm mentioning this to you first of all so you can live with something when it comes to understanding. Number one. Number two, I want to bring to your attention this. These verbs at the beginning, what you're seeing, and then the pronouns with the red color, the beauty of what you've just learnt is that any other past tense verb that you have, you apply the same rule and combine it with the pronouns. It's as simple as that. So what do? You use the verb, that becomes a sarf issue now, and a vocabulary issue. It's not a nahaw problem here. This is a sarf topic and also a vocabulary subject. But for now, because we're focusing on grammar, what grammar does now fixes for you the issue of how do you add a pronoun together with a past tense verb in this case. أليس كذلك? So you know the rules that apply are the same. So now what we are going to focus on is to show you that everything that you've done together up to now is to tell you, according to what Ibn Ajrum provided us when he said that Al-Māḍī مفتوح الآخر أبدا, is that the past tense is always containing a fatha at the end. You can see where the problem is, because look at this. The verb before the pronoun, that's what we're talking about. The verb, not the pronoun. The verb, not the pronoun. Understood? You can see this has a sukoon at the end. This one also has a sukoon at the end. And for this one, however, this one only is the one that has a fatha. This one has a fatha. This one has a fatha. Yes, okay, this one has a fatha. But this one has a dhamma in this case. And this one has a sukoon in this case. And look, just to make it very clear for you, look carefully. You notice that, naam, aywa, look. When it comes to the ghaib, the third person that you are literally addressing who is not part of the conversation, you end up seeing, when it comes to the plural, it changed to a dhamma. When it comes to the plural women, it changed to a sukoon. And for the rest of these ones, only these ones, they contain a fatha at the end. Lakin for all of the other one, whether you're talking about yourself or maybe you and the one whom you've literally included in the conversation, you're talking on their behalf, or the one whom you are addressing, that you're literally talking to directly, is whether single form, dual form, or plural form, this is what you notice. You notice that they all contain a sukoon, or depending on the situation. Now, for what Ibn Ajrum provides, then that means the issue of, let me wipe this off, by the way. The issue of الظاهر لفظا أو تقديرا, basically what we covered in the previous classes, having that the haraka, the inflection is uttered, or you only assume, you make an assumption of it, or you assume, it brings that issue in. Understood? It brings that problem in. Now what happens is, because Ibn Ajrum provided that the fatha, the fatha is literally permanent, and any other state that you will find, and other than the fatha, you only assume that it's in that state, but the original state of it is the fatha, it becomes difficult to tackle. So what happened is that in the madhab of the Basriyin, basically the madhab that is mainly the one that which is accepted and followed and more by the scholars of grammar, who are obviously not me. I'm a person that knows nothing. I'm just trying to pretend that I'm teaching over here the little of what I know. So you notice that what do they say? That's not the case. This is how it works. If you have dhahaba, that it ended with a fatha, then you would say فعل ماض مبني على الفتح. A past tense built upon a fatha, it contains a fatha at the end. Lakin when you have ذهبتم مثلا, ذهبتم, which means you went, for 3 plus males or group of men and women. You understand we did this over here. You can see that over here on the sheet, inshallah ta'ala, which you're going to receive bi'idhnillah al-kareem if you either subscribe on our Telegram group, or maybe you follow our mailing list. Any one of those that you find in the description below, inshallah, you will find that the notes are with you bi'idhnillah al-kareem. Now, the habtum, what you notice is that rather the haraka over here is a sukoon. So what do they say? فعل ماض مبني على السكون. It's built upon a sukoon لاتصاله بواو الجماعة. بواو الجماعة. What does this mean? Okay, this might seem technical, but it's simple. Look, فعل ماض, a past tense, مبني, built upon a sukoon. Why? لاتصاله, because it meeting, or maybe connecting بواو الجماعة, the plural wow, showing that you're talking about, this is not واو الجماعة, this بضمير الجمع. Yes, بضمير الجمع. Sorry, I'm not talking about ذهبوا, not talking about ذهبوا. عفوا, I'm not talking about ذهبوا, I'm talking about بضمير الجمع, بضمير المخاطب للجمع. Understood? بضمير المخاطب للجمع. What is it? It's the tum, meeting with tum. This tum is the pronoun for second person, and also is for plural. It's as simple as that. It's for plural. أليس كذلك? That's what you have. Although you find in other books they're providing you a different way of addressing it, but they all stand the same. It's the same meaning basically. So if you have ذهبوا, ذهبوا in this case, while you find that it ended with a dhamma, you would say what I just said, لكن فعل ماض مبني على الضم. على الضم لاتصاله بواو الجماعة. Why did it end with a dhamma? Why did it end with a dhamm? Because it's connected with a plural waw. ذهبوا, this one over here. I hope that makes sense, inshallah ta'ala. So when you go through the Quran, let's look for some examples in the Quran and then you'll see what I'm trying to explain. Look, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believed, basically showing that آمَنُوا, they believed, وَعَمِلُوا, and they acted, they worked, أليس كذلك? They did the deeds. الصالحات لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم والذين كفروا, those who disbelieved. Now you see how it comes in handy with the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. Yes, here you are. Look, الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. آمنوا, عملوا, آمنوا, they believed. عملوا, they acted, they did the actions. And كفروا, they disbelieved. وكذبوا, denied. Okay, كذبوا, denied. So whenever you see آمنوا, you know that it's in the past for plural. You will see a lot of these in the Quran. There are so many of them. And look, لَإِنْ أَقَمْتُمْ, أَقَمْتُمْ, you, if you is for the plural. You might not know the meaning of the verb itself, like when you see tum like that, you realize, oh, tum, it means plural you, for men specifically. أليس كذلك? Whereas أقمتم, أقم means establishing. So what do you say? If you were to establish, if you established in the past, الصلاة صلاة وآتيتم الزكاة, and you brought forth your zakah, you did your zakah, gave your zakah. وآمنتم, look, آمنوا, آمنوا, isn't it? آمنتم, you believed, برسلي, by our prophets, وعزرتموهم وأقرضتم, and you gave a what? A loan. You gave a loan in the past. قرضا حسنا لأكفرن عنكم سيئاتكم ولأدخلنكم جنات. Now those are just examples I'm giving you so it can be very clear for you, inshallah ta'ala. So now you see, that's how you do the i'rab of the past tense. That's how you do the i'rab of the past tense. And we literally focused on the past tense for a while because the past tense has an issue. Bear that in mind. The past tense has a lot of, basically it needs a lot of breakdown. That's what it is. But the mudari', the present tense, and the amr and the commanding tense, they are tied together, inshallah ta'ala. And what we are going to do for the next lesson, rather than doing them both in this lesson, it becomes a bit, it will be too long for you to master them all together. So what I want you to leave is I want you to leave while you are able to digest exactly what you've learned. The pronouns of the past tense, and at the same time the i'rab, how it works and how you can see them in the Quran, and the type of words that you've learnt, how to separate them from one another, inshallah ta'ala. So that will be the end of this class, and in the next class what would happen is that we're going to look at the mudari' and the present tense and the amr together, combine them together and show how they work together hand in hand according to their rules and application at the same time. Something, however, that you will notice before we conclude is that there's a lot of connection between what you are learning now and from what we've done in the past. Because nahu kasilsila, there's a tasalsul, there's literally a connection, a chain between what you are learning and what you are going to learn. So if you do not know the past of what you've learnt, it's difficult for you to keep up with what you are learning now. And if you want to literally go for the future lessons that are coming ahead, you should be prepared with the previous ones, bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. May Allah grant us all tawfiq and grant you acceptance and accept it from us who are trying to deliver. And may Allah open the doors of goodness for you. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.